Okay, Sadie girl, where are we gonna sleep tonight? So you guys know that I'm traveling cross country, so that I thought it would be a really good idea to talk about my favorite apps for finding free places to sleep, free places to camp. So whether you're living in an RV or a van, and whether you're pretty much just staying in one spot most of the time, or if you're traveling cross country, I've got 3 of my favorite apps for finding free camping that I'm going to talk to you about today. And this is updated for 2023. These are the apps that I'm currently using that I find most reliable. And again, I'm traveling cross country, so that means I'm really relying on these right now. All right, so the first one is freecampsites.net. I have been using freecampsites.net forever. Oh, one other thing I'm going to talk to you today about is the free versions of all of these apps. Freecampsites.net has been free since I've been on the road, but they do have a button so that you can donate to them, because nothing is free. Everything that we do costs money. You know, even those of us who provide free content, it costs money. So just because freecampsites.net is free, it would be a good idea to contribute. There's a contribute button on there. But freecampsites.net is still my go-to app. I love that you can just click on the GPS button and it narrows down to the location that you're at. It shows you free places to camp. It's color coded, so the green places are free places to camp, the red are pay, blue is by permit only. What I love about freecampsites.net still to this day is that it's been around the longer, I think, than any of the other apps that I use, and it's been the most reliable. It's really important to look at the reviews, look for recent reviews, and that's usually the most reliable, or the ones with recent reviews telling you what's going on. And I've talked about this before, if you see a spot on freecampsites.net or any other app and there hasn't been a review in 3 years, I'm always a little, cautious of those. Is it closed? Is it private property now? Why hasn't there been a review in the last 3 years? And in my experience, freecampsites.net has been the most reliable, meaning when there are more recent reviews, when I get there, it's pretty much as described, no surprises, it's not closed, it's not a wild goose chase. Not to say that never happens, but it happens. Doesn't happen much on the freecampsites.net app at all. So that's why Free Campsites is pretty much still my go-to app. And of course, my #1 favorite app for the summer months, especially when it's super hot and I'm traveling with Sadie, is Waggle. So the Waggle Pet Monitor is not only a monitor, but an app on your phone. It's going to give you real-time updates on the temperature, the humidity inside your vehicle, and even if the power goes out if you're plugged in. So when I have to leave Sadie behind, when I have to go run errands, or I want to go have a meal in a restaurant, I have peace of mind knowing that the Waggle Pet Monitor is going to keep her safe. So you just simply subscribe. It's a monthly subscription to keep it active so that you can check in real time what the temperature is, but you can also set up email alerts and text alerts for as many people as you want. I think up to 10 or something like that, so that anybody can be notified, any family member can be notified when it gets too hot in the vehicle. And so I have peace of mind knowing that Sadie is safe no matter what I'm doing. So if you want to get your Waggle Pet Monitor to make sure you're keeping your pet safe inside your vehicle all summer long, all year long for that matter, click on the link in the video description below and use discount code Sadie55 for the best discount you're going to get on the internet for your Waggle Pet Monitor. So go ahead and get started today. Make sure you keep your pet safe while you're traveling. And my new favorite app that I've just been using in the last year is Ioverlander. And what I love about Ioverlander, there are pros and cons to Ioverlander. What I love is that it's got a lot more, I think people are using it more. I think more newer people who are hitting the road are using it. So it actually has more campsites than freecampsites.net. So while freecampsites.net is still my go-to because it's most reliable, it doesn't always have everything that Ioverlander has. The other thing about Ioverlander, it's a little bit easier, a little bit more user-friendly. and you can set it up so that you can see propane resources, water, dump stations. It shows you free camping and it shows you paid camping. So let me see, it shows you shopping, it shows you dry cleaners. So people have done a really, really good job about adding resources that you might need on the road on Ioverlander. So that's why it's been a great resource for my cross-country trip. It really just look at, it's got dump stations. It's just really a valuable tool. The downside of Ioverlander is that it's not always reliable. I have been on more probably wild goose chases. I have seen more discrepancies even in reviews and comments. I can't find this place. It's no longer open. So it helps me find more options for camping, but some of those options aren't really options because they're either closed, it's private property and the original poster didn't know it. So it really helps when you're living in an RV, when you're traveling in an RV or a van, or you're doing a cross-country trip and you're looking for free places to camp. It's really imperative to not rely just on one source. You can often cross-reference one camping spot. It might be on multiple sites, multiple apps, and you can look at the reviews across multiple apps. So while freecampsites.net might have the same camping spot as Ioverlander, the reviews on freecampsites.net might be 3 years old. They might be a little bit newer on Ioverlander. Does that make sense? But I am finding, and again, you know, those new youngins are coming along and using the new apps. I really think that like freecampsites.net is one of the original, and the new people are coming along and using new upgraded, and it is upgraded. I mean, the look at the user interface is much nicer, much easier to navigate. So there's definitely a lot of great things I love about Ioverlander, but like I said, reliability is a little bit below what I have found on freecampsites.net. So just know that. And again, just cross-reference, use multiple apps when you can to, use multiple apps. I bounce around between the different apps. All right, and the third app I'm going to tell you about today is Campendium. And Campendium has a free version and a paid version. And of course, you're going to get more functionality with the paid version. But today I'm just telling you about all the free apps for finding free camping. What I love about Campendium, I don't necessarily rely on them for free camping. You can also go on their website, which I find a little bit easier to use, if I'm sitting around camp, at the end of the day, and I'm on my computer and I'm trying to figure out where I'm going tomorrow, then I might look on the computer. Sometimes it's a little bit easier for me to navigate things on my computer than on my phone. But what I love about Campendium is that in addition to some free spots, if you have the paid version, Campendium is the best resource I have found for paid camping. They have the most comprehensive lists of paid camping, including Corps of Engineers. Sometimes on some of the apps, they give you state parks, national parks, private campgrounds, but sometimes you can't find Corps of Engineers, which are extremely cost effective and some of the best campgrounds I have ever stayed in. And they're usually cheaper than a lot of the other state parks, national parks, and especially private campgrounds, which I avoid like the plague. So Campendium is a really, really good resource. I don't think the free version is going to show me free camping. Yeah, I think you have to get the paid version in order to get free. They used to show you free. So it used to be one of my favorites to go to even for free campsites, but it looks like you have to pay to get free. But look at, they do have a lot of paid campgrounds. And even though this is about finding free camping, Campendium, because it has so many options for paid camping, you can get super free paid camping. I mean, some of the town parks you can camp in for like $6 a night, almost free, right? I mean, you're not going to get hookups. But as I said, Campendium is the best resource for paid camping, cheap paid camping. And if you want to upgrade and pay for it, you can also find free camping as well. And still one of my all-time favorite apps is good old Google Maps. Okay, now Google Maps isn't going to give you a list of free places to camp, but it does allow you to use different layers, and I especially love the satellite layer. so that I can zoom in. And this can come in really handy when you're traveling cross country for a couple of reasons. Number one, you can zoom in on a business. If you have to go to a vet, if you want to go to a restaurant, you can zoom in on the business, on the satellite view, and you can look at the parking lot to see if there is parking for an RV. Especially handy if you have a huge RV. I've got a 24-foot. It's pretty easy to take most places, but I still rely on this a lot. If I take Sadie to the vet, if I want to go to a Whole Foods or a natural grocers, I look at the parking lot first to see if there's going to be enough parking for me. But you can also use it to zoom in warehouse districts, apartment complexes, look at the streets to see what the streets look like if you need to do some stealth camping. So as far as stealth camp apps go, I think Google Satellite, Google Maps is going to be your absolute must-have app, must-have tool in your back pocket. Even some of the campsites that are listed on the apps are street parking. I've seen some boat docks, boat ramps, and things like that. You can use Google Maps to zoom in and see what it really looks like if there aren't any pictures on the app. And you can be like, wow, that's really small. There's a lot of houses around it. It's in a residential neighborhood. I don't think I want to stealth camp there. So your Google Satellite, look at this. So your Google Satellite is going to be one of the best tools you can have no matter what you're doing in your RV life. I rely on this so much for researching, for finding places to camp, for finding places to visit and businesses and things like that. So those are my favorite apps for RV living and road trips and finding free places to camp. So also a word about these, they're also going to show you the Walmarts and the Cabela's and the Cracker Barrels, rest areas that are legal to camp at. And one thing that I'm noticing more and more is a lot of Walmarts are putting up signs either for Walmart policy or for local city ordinance that are prohibiting sleeping in vehicles. What I'm finding a lot now in the comments and in the reviews is that just because a Walmart has a no parking sign, no overnight parking sign, doesn't necessarily mean you can't park there overnight. That if you're in a pinch, if you really need to find a place to sleep, that oftentimes what I'm reading is just go in and ask and they say yes. And that a lot of times those signs are just put up to cover their own butts. So I had that experience recently. It had been the end of a long day and I went to a Walmart that was listed on one of the apps, I think Ioverlander. I got there and there were no overnight parking signs in the parking lot, and I just said, you know what, screw it. I'm not one for like asking permission. I'm not one, I just don't want to be bothered with having to go in, and I moved on. I should have just gone in and asked. I'm seeing more and more that despite the signs, people have been getting permission from management to spend the night in the RV. It just means sometimes you have to park in a certain place and you have to get permission ahead of time, etc. So just thought I would add that. Don't let that discourage you if you really need a place to stay. The thing about Cracker Barrels too, Cracker Barrels are always, always, always right next to the interstate. Have you ever slept in an RV or a car right next to the interstate? It's loud. And I have just gotten to a point in my life, in my RV life, where even though I have earplugs, I hate earplugs, I would rather just find what makes me happy and comfortable and relaxed, because the longer I'm out here living the way I'm living, the more loud noise affects me. And it really affects me. It makes me nervous wreck. It causes me tension and stress. And so I would rather not deal with those places. People are like, why don't you just stay at Walmart? Why don't you just stay at a truck stop? Absolutely not. I am not comfortable. It's always a last resort for me. And even cross country this time, the last free camping spot I had was in Nebraska. After that, I paid, except one night I stayed in Walmart, because I just, I would rather be comfortable and relaxed than be on edge and have to deal with the stress of noise all night. So, all right, so I hope you found that helpful. Those are my favorite apps for finding free camping, free places to spend the night in my travels. And this really is geared more toward my cross-country trips as I travel. But those same apps can be used for boondocking in national forests and Bureau of Land Management. And the same things apply. Cross-reference across multiple apps and Google Earth Google Satellite is your friend. So, all right, thank you all so much for being here. I appreciate each and every one of you. What are some of your favorite apps for finding free camping? Leave your comments below to help other people. And do me a favor, if you like this video, subscribe to my channel. And even if you think you're subscribed, just do me a favor and double check that subscription, because people are getting unsubscribed all the time. Give me a thumbs up, leave a comment, share this video, and I'll see you next time. In the meantime, be happy, be free, and be kind. I'll see you soon.